had this philosophy, in fact I write about it in the book, of saying yes to life. So
Yep.
I would just say yes to everything, and like those were the best years in the city. I mean, the craziest things would happen where you would start the day and where you could end up in this city if you just say yes to everything are two totally different places.
Right.
So I still do it. I feel like as you get older, you become a little bit more boring, or you're like, oh, but what do I have to do tomorrow? Whereas
Right.
when you're young,
If I say
it
yes
doesn't
to this,
occur
what
to
does
you.
it mean?
Yeah, where am I
tomorrow?
going to wake up tomorrow? What am I going to do? But I would just say yes to everything, and often, end up at a party where people were, doing drugs or things were going on that I wasn't comfortable with as a Mormon, but I never really got involved.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't seem to upset me or interfere with my life.
So the non-drinking and the non-sex are both sort of elements of keeping yourself pure or healthy, or I mean, you could have sex when you're married, obviously, but one should never drink as a Mormon?
Well, there's two different kind of things operating there. So one is that for Mormons, like, sex is a huge deal. Like, you're not allowed to do...
They're so preoccupied with non-sex.
Yeah. I was just telling a friend this, that so I dated this Mormon dude for a year. I almost married him.
Is he in the book?
He's in the book, yeah.
Hayes?
Yes.
No big deal.
No
I just
big deal.
have research.
But he, like, when I would date other guys who weren't Mormon, they would always try to touch my boobs. He never tried to touch my boobs. And to the point where I started to be like, always being like, my boobs. Like, I just want to know that you want them.
Right.
Like, I'm not allowed to let you touch them either, but, like, it'd
Right.
be nice for you to try and for me to stop you.
Right. Let's establish the fact that if we could have
You
booby
want to
play,
do that.
we would.
But he never even made a
Right.
move. But what he would do that he just loved, like, and Mormon guys, every Mormon guy I've ever gone out with, they, like, love your armpit. They're like, oh, your armpit, because it's,
Why?
like, close to your boob, but they're not touching your boobs. It's like,
Really?
Oh, yeah, they love some armpit.
But so that's like their safe fetish spot?
Yeah, it's like a safe spot. Sex before marriage is the second most serious sin next to murder. So it is, like, not okay at all.
That's high.
Yeah,
on the list.
it's high on the list. But you can't even, like, you're not supposed to masturbate. In fact, so the prophet will talk about these things, or the apostles will talk about these things.
The current prophet?
Yeah, so they'll have a conference and they'll talk, and they broadcast it and you can listen to it.
So what's the problem with masturbation?
Well, so when they're giving these sort of lessons as to what you're not supposed to do, they can't really use the terms,
Mm-hmm.
So one of my favorite sermons is like, it's about not masturbating, but it's like, there's a factory where men dressed in white work. And there's a valve at the factory that lets the men out of the factory. And this valve will sometimes release on its own through a dream. And if that happens, it's not your fault. But if you release or tug at that valve, that's a sin. Don't do that.